corporations pay fair market rate, as they do in every other place in the country.
Vice Mayor, go ahead. Question?
That answered my question. I'll wait for my comment to see if there's any public comment.
Any other questions? Walter, question?
Walter Sleep, I live here in Atherton. You were very eloquent, okay? That's applaud you. However, I didn't get the package, so I'd like to know what the resolution is. I was expecting you, after all that introduction, to paint the resolution up there so we can see what it was. Can you do that?
I cannot. Perhaps George can. So I can answer that question. They differ a little depending on each locally elected body. All that we are calling for is language be included to call on Sacramento to regularly reassess large, non-residential commercial property. So, there are other elements to this. We support a small business exemption. That's important to us. I was just talking to some people in San Juan Bautista down in San Benito. Their council's going to adopt this. They don't want a small business exemption. That's not our point of view, and in fact, that's not the point of view of most of the councils we've talked to. But the important thing here is that we get the conversation started about large commercial property, because they're already talking about renewing Prop 30 taxes. This is something up in Sacramento that is already in discussions. And we believe that before we raise another tax on working people, we've got to make sure that large corporations pay fair market rate.
Have you had the legal work done to know whether something is, Prop 13, can that be actually just changed by the legislature as opposed to having another proposition?
Great question. So it is going to need to be a ballot initiative. Yeah.
Please. I'm sorry, Kim, I don't
I'm Marisa Dexter.
Excuse me for just a second. Could we have people come up to the microphone so it gets on the tape?
Please,
I mean, Walter.
if you could. Sorry, Walter.
I think my voice was loud enough. Go ahead.
Come on up.
I'm Marisa Dexter, and I want to say that a few years ago, there was an article in the New York Times, they have a California section, and they discussed this very issue after the 2008 financial collapse. And they discussed Trader Joe's in Menlo Park, of all places. And they said that given the way that Proposition 13 had been distorted for commercial buildings and shopping centers, that Trader Joe's in Menlo Park pay a total of $8,000 a year, which means that actually the other residents of Menlo Park are subsidizing the roads, the water, the sewer, etc. That was really quite shocking. That's all I had to say. I thought it was something that really brings it locally very close to home. $8,000 a year for that whole city block.
Thank you.
I think brings it in perspective.
I noticed a hand to the left today. No? Okay, we're good.
Yes, Vice. I'm Suzanne Van Ness on Holbrook Lane. I'm just wondering, why would this not have the effect of driving more business out of California?
That's an excellent question. Certainly one we get asked a lot. The people the entities we're talking about and would be affected most by this reform are large corporations. And Disneyland, for example, is not going to move. Chevron is not going to move. The wineries in Napa, who have also benefited greatly from this, are not going to move. There are reasons beyond just landed interest in California that people choose to do business in California. And as I said in my presentation as well, 40 out of 50 states in the country actually tax commercial property at a higher rate than we do. So it would be hard to imagine why or how they would accomplish that.
Well, I guess I was just thinking that, there are an awful lot of companies that have been paring back on, employees are paring back on their facilities because of tight monies and whatnot, or being overtaxed. I might be quoting wrong, but I was thinking HP up in Roseville just last week was another one. And 3M used to have more facility in Roseville, but they've also.
Right. Well, so this brings up an interesting other point. She mentioned the Trader Joe's in Menlo Park. We're actually in a situation now that there was another statistic about that. They compared the Trader Joe's in Menlo Park to the Trader Joe's in San Carlos. The Trader Joe's in San Carlos, because they opened up shop about 10, 15 years later, is paying about 5 times the property tax. So the price of milk is the same at both places. But one of these stores, which is owned by the same people, is having to foot 5 times the property tax. So, that's sort of that's not good for business either. And the thing is, Prop 13 has shown itself to be fundamentally anti-competitive, because if you are a new business looking to, a young entrepreneur, this is what Silicon Valley was made famous for: ingenuity, entrepreneurship. It's a very tough thing to come in and have your competitor be selling milk for the same price but paying 5 times less the property tax. So we believe that Prop 13 has really been bad for business. It doesn't encourage entrepreneurship, and just the very high sales taxes and parcel taxes that businesses have to deal with, that's no good either.
Any more questions from the public? Thank you. Council members, Josh,
So I look at it from 2 different angles. One is what I think about it and what I think about Prop 13 and how it's affected California,